Defund the police is a phrase that draws both deep conversation and anger, but has gained significant support across America, including from elected officials. But what do the efforts to carry out defunding the police department actually mean?
Police reform is needed and needed now.
It's the rallying cry for advocates of law enforcement reform. Defund the police.
And people are demanding that it ends.
The goal is to take the financial means and funds away from police departments and guide those funds to areas that communities need them the most, such as homelessness, outreach, drug prevention, and education.
People need help. People, especially now, need help, and they need to know where they can get, how to reach out to how to get disability claim, how to file a claim, or how to unemployment claim.
Nassau County legislator Carrie Szilagyi is the son of a former police officer, but knows that police are the stabilizing presence in his communities. But while police responding to minor infractions that have escalated to altercations, law enforcement in Nassau County have sent way too many young men of color to jails and prisons.
We had protests and marches and gatherings and talks and conversations in which everyday people in my community talked about how, not when they were arrested, but when they were pulled over for no reason and they weren't given a reason as to why they were stopped, and other inappropriate issues happened.
Szilagyi and other advocates agree that those who respond to crisis in their community are the people best equipped and should be funded to deal with that crisis, and not the police, adding that defunding the police may address that need.
I do not like the term.
Cindy O'Farrell, whose husband is a decorated New York City police detective, understands the sentiment behind the slogan, but it's not the slogan that she will support.
I think a lot of people don't really understand what defund means and what you're defunding, because what's going to be defunded before anything else are the programs that directly impact victims and the community.
O'Farrell is the president of Cops and Kids. The program was established in conjunction with her husband and local law enforcer Byron McCrae. The goal, they say, is to bridge the widening gap between the communities of color and law enforcement.
It's more so our focus is definitely the youth. We want them to understand, what the job is, what the responsibilities are, and how they can actually have an impact by becoming police officers and creating change from inside. So we encourage that. And we also, want them to see us in a positive light instead of in a negative light, which we are seeing a lot of police officers these days being seen.
Further explanation of the term defund the police after the death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police, New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo issuing Executive Order 203 that mandates that all police departments in New York State review their current police procedures and develop plans to address inherent racial bias no later than April 1st, 2021, or lose funding altogether.
So this plan is due, and it's foreseeable, very reasonable, to think that this plan will include requirements for officers, law enforcement officers, to do X, Y, Z. But if those requirements are inconsistent with anything in their contract, they will be quick to file some sort of litigation or legal relief.
I do believe, as I said before, that there's some restructuring that needs to be done. The biggest problem is when that cut to the budget comes down, it's going to be the underprivileged communities that get less things provided to them. But at the same time, as a community, we have to speak up and make sure our voices are heard. Because we can't ask or want change, but yet we're not willing to put in the work in our own community to get it either. So it takes more than one entity to get it done.
According to the most recent data available, police departments received over $114 billion from state and local governments. Cindy O'Farrell, who I mentioned, is the wife of a decorated detective in New York City, says that some police officers have considered retirement if their funds are cut.